Y&R Spoilers reveal the atmosphere at the Newman mansion is bright and festive. Every corner is decorated with pure white roses and soft yellow light reflecting on sparkling crystal glasses. No one expects that behind that splendor is a series of conspiracies, insecurities, and terrible secrets about to be exposed. Nikki Newman's birthday is always an important event in Genoa City's upper class, but this year, the party is not simply an occasion to celebrate but a battlefield of calculations, confrontations, and undercurrents that are about to engulf everything. While everyone is eagerly preparing, Diane Jenkins Abbott can barely hide her anxiety. She watches every move of the waiters, listens to every whisper, follows the eyes of her husband Jack Abbott and cannot help but feel the dangers lurking. Diane's mind kept flashing back to a sinful secret that she had kept hidden for so long. That secret was directly related to Victor Newman, the most powerful man in Genoa City, the man who had made her wary, respectful, and sometimes afraid. Diane knew that if this truth was exposed on Nikki's birthday, it would not only destroy Victor's reputation but also ignite a hurricane that would sweep away everything belonging to the Newman family. Upstairs, Kyle Abbott was standing by the window, looking down at the large, brightly lit garden, his heart filled with complicated thoughts. In recent months, Kyle had clearly felt the instability in every step he took in Genoa City. His career was shaky, his personal relationships had become cold, and most importantly, he had never truly been accepted by the Newman family. That makes Kyle constantly eager to prove his worth, looking for an opportunity to turn the tables, and he understands that Claire Newman is the ideal ally for this plan. Claire, with her calm but calculating appearance, is the one who ignites the fire of determination in Kyle. She is the only one who dares to look Victor straight in the eye without flinching, ready to confront and never hide her intention to conquer the throne of Newman Enterprises. Claire sees great potential in Kyle. Not only as the heir to the Abbott family but also as the perfect chess piece to stir up the order that has been stable for too long in the Newman family. The cooperation between Claire and Kyle is not only based on ambition but also on the complex connection of people who have always been on the sidelines, always yearning for recognition and refusing to stay out of the power play of Genoa City. The biggest event of the night was the lavish birthday party for Nikki. The entire Newman family, business associates, and close friends were there. Victor appeared with his usual imposing presence, his eyes scanning each guest as if assessing who could be trusted, who would have to be eliminated from the powerful world he had built over the years. Nikki, though still smiling brightly, could not hide her anxiety about the storms that were coming. In the midst of the festive atmosphere, Diane suddenly received an anonymous text message. In that moment, she knew that she could no longer hesitate. The content of the message urged Diane to act immediately or else the terrible secret would be exposed in a way she could not control. The pressure grew so great that Diane almost suffocated, but she knew that the moment to face the past had come. She gently moved away from the crowd, quietly found Victor, and pulled him into a private room, where the light was just dim enough to hide the trembling in her voice. In that room, Diane whispered to Victor about the secret of his lost son, a horrifying truth that Victor himself had wanted to bury forever. The incident happened many years ago, when Victor was young, entangled in a scandalous relationship with a mysterious woman. None of Victor's relatives knew that the result of that love affair was a child, denied, rejected, and then disappeared from this world without a trace. Diane discovered the truth during a chance investigation into Victor's past, but she always chose to keep quiet, until now. Diane knew that if this secret was revealed right at Nikki's birthday party, not only Victor but the entire Newman family would face a real earthquake. However, the threat from the anonymous sender left Diane no choice but to put everything on the table. She sets a condition for Victor. Either he must agree to help Kyle advance in Newman Enterprises, or Diane will let this shocking secret be revealed to all the guests, the press, and the world. Meanwhile, downstairs, Claire and Kyle are planning a bold move. Claire suggests that if Kyle makes a big gesture, something prominent at Nikki's birthday party, it will surely impress Victor. It could be a surprise congratulation, a touching speech, or even the announcement of a joint project between Abbott and Newman to build a new legacy for both families. Kyle, though still skeptical about the feasibility of the plan, is drawn to Claire's optimism and strategic vision. He sees this as an opportunity to turn things around, to make Victor see him in a new light, and to strengthen his position within the Newman family. Claire keeps urging Kyle to be bolder, to take more risks, and to be prepared to accept the consequences, because only those who dare to take risks can hold true power. Kyle's conspicuous appearance alongside Claire at the party caused quite a stir, especially among the senior members of the Abbott and Newman families. Some saw it as rebellion, others understood that a new alliance was about to be formed, one that could change the entire situation in Genoa City. As the party reached its climax, Victor and Diane suddenly reappeared in the middle of the hall, their faces solemn and far from festive. Victor spoke in a deep but authoritative voice, announcing that there would be an important revelation for the family and guests. All eyes turned to him, the whispers gradually fading until the room fell into absolute silence. Nikki, standing next to her husband, felt a chill run down her spine, while Victor's children were half believing about what was about to happen. At that moment, Diane unexpectedly stepped forward, asking to say a few words. She revealed a part of the truth about Victor's past, forcing him to confront his entire family and friends. Diane did not reveal all the details, but enough for everyone to understand that the Newman family had been hiding a shocking secret. Related to a lost son, a part of Victor's flesh and blood that no one had ever known. Shock filled the hall, sighs, looks of surprise, and a mixture of anger and fear in the eyes of Nikki, Adam, Victoria, Nick and other close people. Just when everything fell into chaos, Kyle, with the skillful guidance of Claire, stepped forward, proposing a new project on behalf of the Abbott and Newman families, a future of cooperation in which past mistakes would become the driving force to build a stronger future. He skillfully diverted the attention of the crowd, eased the tension and won the approval of many people. Claire smiled secretly, knowing that they had just won an important game in the power struggle. Diane, after all, realized that she had freed herself from her long-standing obsession, and at the same time opened a new door for Kyle and the Abbott clan. Victor, although pained by the revelation of his past, but with the courage of a king, he quickly regained his composure, promising to find his lost son, whoever it was, he would take responsibility. Nikki's birthday party ended in a completely different atmosphere from when it began. No longer a flashy party, but a storm of emotions, decisions, and uncertain futures for each character. Claire and Kyle stood quietly together, knowing that the battle had only just begun. Diane, for the first time in years, felt relieved, knowing that the storm had only just calmed, and that ahead lay an uncertain future for all those with the Newman and Abbott names. The atmosphere in Genoa City these days seems to be tense with hidden calculations and worries present in the eyes of each character. At the Abbott mansion, which has just undergone a major renovation directed by Diane herself, the early morning sunlight shines through each shiny new glass window, reflecting the anticipation, excitement, and even unnamed insecurities. Diane has devoted all her heart to transforming the house into a more luxurious and cozy space, hoping to soothe the unrest in her heart with tangible changes. But is that enough to hide the hidden storm that is rising between the opposing forces inside and outside the family? In the large living room that has just completed the final touches of the renovation, Diane stands by the window, her eyes following every movement in the backyard, where memories of countless power struggles and fleeting moments of happiness continuously come flooding back. Diane's emotions reach a peak as she prepares to show Tracy the results of her work. There is something deep in the soul of this woman who has struggled many times in the whirlwind of love and hatred that makes her unable to be as calm as outsiders imagine. For Diane, every change in living space is not only an aesthetic mark but also an effort to maintain trust, to rebuild the image of a real Abbott amidst the skeptical and disdainful looks from relatives in the family. Tracy, who is sensitive and always has a passionate love for the Abbott home, when she stepped through the newly painted door, she was almost speechless at the new designs. Diane observed every change in Tracy's eyes. At first confusion, then curiosity, then overwhelming emotion. Tracy touched the walls, the new chairs, closed her eyes to enjoy the feeling of both familiarity and strangeness, as if she were standing in a beloved home that had been breathed into life by a blend of past and future. Diane waited anxiously for a response, knowing that Tracy did not easily praise anyone, especially when she had been a staunch opponent of Diane returning to Abbott Mansion and taking over the big and small projects in the house. Finally, after a long silence, Tracy admitted that she really liked the changes, although it took a while to get used to the modern layout that Diane brought. In that moment, Diane clearly felt a glimmer of hope. That even though the intrigue and division outside were gradually tightening around the family, at least here, in this very house, she could create a temporary shelter for lost and insecure souls like herself. Meanwhile, in another part of Genoa City, Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman were lost in thought about the next steps of Victor Newman, the man they both admired and feared. Kyle could not escape the feeling of confusion when thinking that all his and Claire's efforts were just in vain. Because no matter how smart and determined they are, Victor is always one step ahead. This feeling is only strengthened when he hears about the secret connection between Victor and Audra Charles, a dangerous alliance that is forming with the sole purpose of separating Kyle and Claire, and destroying whatever plans these two young people have. Claire, with her cold eyes and unpredictable smile, still appeared confident in front of Kyle. But inside her heart, waves of unrest were constantly rising. Claire understood Victor, a man who always turned everything around him into a pawn to serve his greater good. His sudden approach to Audra Charles, an ambitious, shrewd and cunning woman, could only bring about one thing: division and destruction of potential alliances that could threaten the Newman family's position. Claire picked up on every little signal, observing how Audra quietly approached Kyle at social events, using her tact and ability to read minds to arouse Kyle's doubts about their future together. It was a very wise move on Victor's part, forcing Claire to calculate each next step with utmost vigilance. Meanwhile, Victor did not show any concern for the concerns of the younger generation. He is busy preparing for Nikki's birthday party, the woman he loves deeply and who is also the center of all the big and small decisions in the family. Victor knows that even a small move on this occasion can stir up public opinion, adjust the balance of power and send a strong message to anyone eyeing his position. To make this event a memorable milestone, Victor has secretly cooperated with a famous new party planner named Pietro, who will officially debut on Wednesday's episode of Y&R. Pietro is a mysterious figure who has organized a series of grand events in Europe, now coming to Genoa City with the hope of creating a legendary night. Victoria Newman, with the courage of a female leader and the heart of a filial daughter, has high expectations for her mother's birthday party. She hopes that this will not only be an occasion to honor Nikki, but also an opportunity to bring family members closer together, temporarily putting aside hidden conflicts. Victoria spent many evenings working with Pietro, discussing every little detail about the menu, the space, the guest list, the music, to make sure everything was perfect. Pietro, with his vast experience, assured Victoria that everything would go as expected, even better than she had imagined. This will be a legendary event, one that no one in this city will ever forget, Pietro promised, his eyes shining with the confidence and mystery that characterizes event masters. However, beneath that splendid facade, there were fierce undercurrents. Kyle and Claire, after many sleepless nights, finally decided to use this birthday party as a fulcrum for their plan to confront Victor. They knew that Victor would launch a surprise attack, but they also hoped that in the solemn atmosphere, with many witnesses who were the most important people in the city, every event would be magnified many times. Claire suggested that instead of avoiding, they should proactively appear with dignity, publicly express their commitment, and together send impressive congratulations to Nikki and Victor. Kyle was hesitant at first, afraid that everything was just wishful thinking, especially when Victor became increasingly cold, shared less with him, and let Audra approach to sow doubt and create a rift. But it was Claire's undisguised confidence that inspired Kyle. He realized that if he kept being afraid and standing on the sidelines, all opportunities would slip away. He decided to prepare a small surprise with Claire for the party, not to show off his strength or compete, but to affirm his presence and role in the Abbott and Newman family. Together, they practiced their wishes, chose their outfits, and predicted the reactions of each person at the party. Even though she knew that one wrong move could cause everything to fall apart, for the first time in months Kyle felt like he was truly in control of his life, no longer a pawn in someone else's hands. Meanwhile, Diane was still reeling from anxiety. Not only was she facing pressure from her own family, but she was also witnessing her son engaging in dangerous power plays with Victor, who she knew would never show mercy to anyone. Diane spent the afternoon tidying up every corner of the house, checking everything before giving Tracy a tour. When Tracy admitted that she liked the changes, Diane felt like she had won a small battle among many larger battles out there. In her heart, Diane hoped that even if there was a storm outside, inside the Abbott house, she could build a safe haven for the people she loved, before bigger storms came. The party took place under the bright yellow lights. Hundreds of guests dressed in gorgeous clothes walked across the red carpet leading to the grand hall, which Pietro had transformed into a luxurious paradise with fresh flowers, crystals, melodious music and an exquisite menu. Nikki appeared in a gorgeous dress, a bright smile on her lips, although her heart was still filled with worries about the secrets and complicated relationships that were intertwined around her. Victor, as usual, walked beside his wife, holding her hand tightly as if to convey all his strength and determination. Victoria busied herself with Pietro to take care of everything, satisfied that every detail was perfect. Audra Charles appeared with a mysterious demeanor, always keeping a reasonable distance from Victor, occasionally glancing at Kyle and Claire with an unpredictable gaze. Diane arrived a little later, wearing an elegant but luxurious dress, holding Tracy's arm as she walked into the banquet hall. The gazes between the Abbott and Newman members were still filled with a silent wariness, although on the surface everyone tried to appear friendly and affable. Kyle and Claire entered just as everyone was raising their glasses to toast Nikki. They chose prominent positions, taking turns to give deep and skillful congratulations, emphasizing love, solidarity, a shared future and gratitude for previous generations. Claire proactively recalled the achievements that both families had built, cleverly expressing her trust in the roles of Nikki and Victor, not forgetting to send the message of moving forward together. Pietro, the party organizer, recorded all those details with a keen eye. He captured every little emotion in the party, adjusting the music, lighting, and rhythm of the event so that the atmosphere always maintained excitement without being too tense. He kept his promise to Victoria, turning the party into a legendary event, where everyone was both engrossed in the fun and unable to forget the unexpected moments, the glances that contained profound messages. Victor, amidst the whirlwind of intrigue and public congratulations, remained unusually calm. He presented Nikki with a mysterious gift, carefully prepared by Pietro, causing everyone to speculate about the true meaning behind the gift. No one knew that, at the same time, he and Audra were quietly controlling the game of dividing Kyle and Claire with sophisticated tricks, sowing just enough doubt to prevent any fledgling alliance from lasting. The night passed, and the guests left one by one, but the echoes of the party still reverberated. Tracy returned home with a satisfied smile, whispering that the Abbott house was now truly a new home. Diane quietly admired her work, feeling both relieved and worried about the days ahead. Kyle and Claire, despite knowing they were up against a powerful force, were determined not to back down. They understood that every public moment, every hidden congratulations, every smile, even if it was just a courtesy, could be the key to changing their fate in the never-ending war in Genoa City. As for Victor, deep in his eyes, the flame of endless power still burned. He knew that no matter how many alliances, how many surprises happened, he was still the one who controlled the biggest chessboard, until someone was truly brave enough to turn the game around. And that night, under the legendary facade, was the beginning of a new chapter filled with confrontations, alliances, divisions, loves, and even unforeseen losses. After months of burying herself in blueprints, intense meetings, and many heated arguments, the Abbott mansion finally took on a new look, reflecting both the modernity and the enduring tradition of Genoa City's oldest family. Diane, who oversaw this renovation, put her heart and soul into every corner and detail, hoping not only to renew the living space but also to mend the hidden cracks beneath the seemingly perfect roof. However, she was still nervous, because every change comes with scrutiny and not everyone in the family easily accepts this transformation.